Welcome, friends. Today we are doing a vintage unboxing video. Marvelous. And it is marvelous. If you are hearing strange noises coming from behind the camera, that's because there is an outrageous thunderstorm going on. It's wet. I won't lie to you. It's wet out there. But fortunately, we are in here. So we are dry. It's more importantly, so are the perfumes, you know. This perfume is a vintage Chanel. And if you remember me saying in one of my more recent videos about when I unboxed the vintage Derby that I bought, you will remember me saying that I was only going to be buying stuff now that would improve the collection. And that is true. And in this case, it is true. The fragrance, without any further ado, that I am unboxing is Chanel's Cuir de Russie from the 80s. I don't know exactly which 80s year. I'm probably going to work on trying to figure out which year it is, but I'm not, to be honest, I'm not that bothered about which year it is, because it is an 80s version. I was originally sent a sample of this off your friend and mine, Ramsey. He sent me his 2ml sample decant of this, and I loved it. I have got the Les Exclusifs version of this in the eau de toilette form, so the original Les Exclusifs re-release. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. It is very good, that eau de toilette, but it is provisionally sold because I found this version and I was willing to let that version go. We just have to wait and see if we can get it to the person who would like it, because they live far away. And shipping perfume off this island is not easy. It's a black hole for fragrances. Stuff, perfumes come in, they do not leave. But anyway, that's the backstory. I found this. It wasn't cheap. It was not cheap, but it is sealed. Although I think it's been opened from the bottom just to test that the perfume is still intact, which is what the person who I bought it off said, which is fair enough to divulge that. I'm fine with that. I knew that before I bought it. So, let us now unbox. There is a little bit of tape on the bottom, and I do mean a little bit. Some blue ribbon, which is obviously not what Chanel intended. There we go. Now, I'm going to try and maintain the integrity of this as much as I possibly can. So, I learned this trick off Dake-Up, Super Dake-Up, if you will, and I do. If you keep the cellophane wrap over the top of your white boxes, they'll stay white. How clever. But there she is. Vintage 1980s Cuir de Russie. Look at the colour of said juice. That is magnificent. That's vanillin. There's definitely vanillin in there, because that's what vanillin does when it gets old. It goes that colour, and it's a beautiful colour, to be fair to it. It's an amber golden colour. It's almost the same colour as the wood. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? Yes, you can see it. Of course you can. The lighting in here is not great because obviously it's pitch black outside with the thunderstorm. I'll put those lights on as well. I need to get some good lighting. I'm hoping to do that with the money that I'm going to be making off selling some of my fragrances that I don't use. I'm hoping to get like a decent setup, like a laptop and a light and a microphone and everything, you know, so we'll see how I go with that. But anyhow, this is vintage Chanel Cuir de Russie. We will, oops, there's the cap. Inside of the cap doesn't have the CC on it. They didn't start doing that yet. But there's the gold on the top. I believe it was gold for women and silver for the men. There is the Jouse. Sprays first time because, of course, they told me they had tried it just to make sure the juice was okay, so it is full. Whoa! Goodness me. That is thick. That is extremely thick. It's rich and smoky. Leather. Floral. The main thing that hits you straight away is that almost it's not off. It's not a kind of like, so the fragrance isn't off, but there is a smell of, I don't want to say decay, but there's a smell of age in there, you know? There is definitely a smell of, sorry, I'm just moving the camera. There's definitely a smell of something decaying, age, something that has given way, you know? It's like a ever so slight citrus at the top. And I do mean slight, but it's almost like a syrupy kind of top, you know? The florals in the middle are rose, ylang. Definitely get the ylang. It could be that, because ylang sometimes gives me that kind of thing. And it could be that it's mixing with the jasmine. Jasmine gives that kind of old age, vintage kind of smell, doesn't it? There's obviously leather in it because it's a leather perfume. There's big birch in it. There's a huge birch note in it. I don't know if you can hear the rain starting off again. It's like a cloud burst. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. Says the sky. Tobacco and musks. It's very Chanel, it's very dark, it's very smoky, it smells old, you know? I think you get this kind of vibe with stuff from Orige Ladore as well. Their Cuir de Russie had this vibe. It could be the birch, but for me it's most likely the florals mixing with the leather and that sort of syrupy kind of, it is sweetness, it's a little bit of a lift, but it's more syrupy, it's more thick, you know, it's rich. There's a richness at the top and the mid. It's an incredible perfume. It's one of Eugene's favourites, and it's easy to see why. This is the type of fragrance that I love. It's a vintage version of a classic fragrance. It's made with, if this was in the 80s, which I believe it is, then it's probably got real or old versions of birch in, which I don't know how safe they are, but I imagine that was identified before IFRA came in and stuff, you know, so I imagine it's been treated. I hope it's been treated. But there's lashings of it. There's a lot of birch in here. This was the style in the 80s. Everything was richer, it was deeper, it was thicker. And that's why I love those kind of fragrances. You can see in front of you vintage Fahrenheit, vintage Koros up here. For God's sake, the original Dior Homme, Secret de Parfum by Opium Secret de Parfum by YSL, Balenciaga Pour Homme up here, the original Cocoa. I've got a bottle of that. I've got Samsara EDP in the original bottle. These are the type of fragrances I love. Big, rich, thick, dense perfumes. So you can expect to see this on my channel a lot. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it at the minute, because I am laden with perfume, as you can see. But I'm going to try and give it somewhere where it will not fall over and get hurt. Thank you very much for watching this unboxing. You can expect to see it on my rotation a few times. It will go into the queue to be reviewed. I'm going to start trying to do some reviews again soon, because I just noticed I haven't done any reviews for a long time, and that's not good enough. I should be doing more reviews. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I will see you again soon.